All right, amazing. So as it is already 2:40 Central European time or 8:40 Philippines time or even 7:40 I believe in Vietnam time, we can get started. But I wanted to welcome everyone first. I am Lauren. I am the founder of Filipinas Abroad and I'm very happy to have you all here today. I give you a very warm welcome. And whether you're in different parts of the world, whether in Asia, Europe, Africa, Middle East, we are very welcome and we are very happy to have you. So I am actually also very excited that we are graced with two amazing women. And we are actually based in different parts of the world. So for me, I am based in Barcelona, Spain, where it's actually 2:40 in the afternoon in my time, while Desiree is based in France with the same time zone as me. And of course, Annie, who is based in Vietnam. And Annie is actually an executive from Duolingo. She is the business development manager for Southeast Asia, Central Asia, and the Middle East. And we're very uh, fortunate to have you, Annie, with us. Desiree and Annie, you can give a quick hi uh, to our participants for today. And
Hi,
yeah,
everyone.
amazing. So
Hi.
we are connecting between Europe and Asia, and that's so exciting. So I will bring it towards the agenda for today. So first, I will take up how to study in Spain, and I'm very also proud to say that this platform really prides itself to be for students and by students. So we have really gathered our practical experience to pave the way forward and bring about all the information you need to know about studying abroad. Of course. So the first one is studying in Spain um, with me. And then second part would be study in France with Desiree, with Filipinas Abroad. And then 9 p.m. or yeah, 9 p.m. we will take up what is really the best choice for you. There's no wrong or right answer. It is only according to you. So yeah, you could choose between the two. And then the last one would be admissions prep. As you know, we are preparing requirements for taking our masters, and one of the requirements are is the English test. So we take up admissions prep with the Duolingo English test and all the features and benefits of taking Duolingo English test as one of the requirements for taking the masters. And of course, lastly is the live Q&A with these speakers as well. And now we can get started. The last note that I have is that if you also have questions, please feel free to type it in the chat and we will take it up at the end of the session. So, of course, why Spain? And of course, if you are Filipino, there are some inclination and some connection to Spain, being that we are a former colony. But for starters, it is your gateway to Europe. You can travel easily around the continent and explore the tourism superpower itself. So for Spain, the number one driving factor of the GDP of the country is actually tourism, which actually represents 20% of their GDP. So this is something that you can experience being as a student uh, in Spain. Second is the quality of life. We do have really great quality of life, and I myself walk a lot. I walk about 10,000 steps a day, and this is something that I feel like has really improved the benefit of my well-being. And of course, good food as well, nutritious food. Um, we are in the Mediterranean, so definitely we are more taking up Mediterranean food. And of course, high quality education and a great social atmosphere. Spanish people are similar to us Filipinos. We're very sociable. We love fiestas. We love um, relationships and getting together. So this is also close to how Spain is. The next one is affordable tuition fees. You can gain access to over 90 universities in the country with degrees recognized around Europe. So uh, that would be about Spain. The next slide. So there are pretty popular cities in Spain that you could go to. These are just selected ones. But for Madrid, if you are looking at more of the business, the mixture of business and culture, you can go towards Europe. Normally, if you are looking and expecting like a European look and aesthetic, it is normally Madrid that provides that aesthetic. So it is more on the posh and also a little bit like a luxurious lifestyle to go to Madrid. It is comparable to Paris, where the aesthetic is very clean and sophisticated. The next one is Barcelona. Barcelona is also a tourist hotspot. It is more gearing towards the arts and culture. So definitely, if you are into arts and cultural management, you can go towards Barcelona. But of course, Barcelona still has a bit of the business degrees and programs, being that it is also a technological hub. But it entirely depends on you what is your preference towards, the aesthetic of the city. The next one is Valencia. So if you want a little more tame, a little like subdued, a little more chill, you can go towards Valencia. It also still has a beach. And of course, it is along the Mediterranean. And you can get the best of both worlds of being a city, but also a beach, and without the major hustle and bustle that Madrid and Barcelona might offer. The next one is Granada. So from your own memories of the Alhambra, you can enjoy and experience high quality education here. They have a bustling student community and a student body that you can also benefit from. Next slide. So what programs can I study? So definitely if you're on the younger side, you're from Gen Alpha, so definitely you can take a bachelor's degree. So a bachelor's degree is up to 3 to 4 years, and it can be taught in English. There are different fields that you can take up, whether it's business and management, computer science, tourism and hospitality, international relations, arts and design, and medicine. So the taking up the bachelor's degree, I would recommend starting the process for like 9 months prior, or up to 1.5 years to 2 years prior, because of the rigorousness of the requirements of applying for bachelor's degree, and of course ultimately receiving the final admission that you need as well to spark the study abroad journey. The next one is master's degree. You can level up your career with a 1 to 2 year master's degree, also taught in English. So normally I encounter questions, how long is the degree, the master's degree? For Spain, we do see a lot of 1 year master's degree programs, but there are also 2 year master's degree programs, especially if you have more of a complex degree like master's in chemical engineering and the like. So the types of fields that you can go to would be business administration and finance, data science and artificial intelligence, marketing, arts and design, tourism and hospitality, architecture and urban mobility, and many more. Although they're taught fully in English, there are some programs that are taught in English and Spanish. And of course, with Filipinas Abroad, we will help you vet the programs that are taught in English, so that if you have a preference of taking the program in fully English, this is where we can help. Okay. So how do you apply? This is basically the general journey of how to apply. So you apply for the program, you compile the documents, and things like your CV, your transcript, your diploma, and recommendation letters. These are just some of the requirements that are needed. But of course, there's also like the English test, So this is English test, and we have come across different English type of exams requirements, and it's a good thing that later on we will take up Duolingo and submit to the school. And if accepted, we pay the registration fee or the enrollment fee. There are some cases that we just need to pay the registration fee, and the tuition fee can come later. Some schools prefer paying it upfront, 50%, or 100%. So it depends on also our preferences. So we do prefer doing this 1 to 2 months prior as well. So bachelor's could be even much longer. So the next one is visa leg. So first is gathering documents like your NBI clearance, medical certificate, apostille or Hague apostille, and have these documents Spanish sworn translated. The last one would be applying for student visa. You have your appointment with BLS Spain, submit all the requirements and review. And if accepted, we book our flight, we pack up and start this next journey in this next chapter. So this is also 3 months before flying. And then the visa requirements is also ideally 3 months before the visa appointment date. Next slide. So as I mentioned, what do I need to prepare for university? Diploma and transcript of records with CHED, CAB, and apostille is preferable because some universities also require this to be globally recognized or apostilled or notarized. Second one would be curriculum vitae or resume. Next one would be passport. Statement of purpose is also called a motivation letter or letter of motivation. And in order for you to be granted a spot, we will help you also craft this letter of motivation that contains all the areas and content that you need to get a slot in the university. English certificate as well, like the Duolingo English test. So other requirements can be requested by the program. And yeah, some universities may require an admissions test, especially if you're applying for bachelor's. But don't worry, this is done remotely, and it can be in the form of an aptitude test. It can be in the form of like a Spanish evaluation test. Normally, they just want to see the level of aptitude that we have, especially with towards Spanish, so that they have an idea how our Spanish can be. But that's entirely dependent on the program and the school. Next slide. For visa, so yeah, university admission letter or something we call plan de estudios, proof of financial support or means, because we are studying abroad. It's similar to applying for a Schengen tourist visa, where we do also provide proof of financial support or means. Health insurance is required for Spain, but later on with Desiree speaking, this is not a requirement. For France, valid passport, NBI clearance, and medical certificate. Next slide. So this is just a breakdown, and I think I'm down to my last two slides. So medical evaluation can be in the range of 4,000 pesos. NBI clearance can be 130. Apostille is 400 pesos, containing 2 documents that you need to have apostilled. Spanish sworn translations can be in the range of 5,000, especially if you chance upon, an affordable Spanish sworn translator or a more expensive one. So the next one is BLS student visa, which is in the range of 6,300 pesos. And then passport size photos is 250, and medical insurance such as Swiss Cares ranging about 30,000. So you, in terms of the visa requirements, the total would be an average of 46,080 pesos. While we get down to the Spanish part, which is 1 month of rent, is normally more or less 25,000 pesos, or about, I guess, 300 or 200 to 300 euros. And then normally for Spain, there's like 1 month advance, 1 month deposit, the approach. So yeah, that's what you can prepare for. And then enrollment and tuition fees, depending on the schools and everything. This is the minimum tuition fee that you can come across for Spain. If you want more information about the more specific tuition fee programs, later on we will ask you to book a discovery call with us to get further information and get into more deep dive discussions on your particular case. Next slide. So living expenses is about monthly rent is 25, as I mentioned. Groceries is about 15,000 pesos. Transportation is 1,000 pesos because we do have like an unlimited monthly card that you can go around using the train, and this is very convenient already. Data plan is something like Vodafone, which contains 50 gigabyte of data, 700 pesos, and 41,700 is in the range of this much. And you don't have to think about this in terms of what is it, like having it, using it, but this should be illustrated in your bank account, which is also part of the financial means towards the visa. And then lastly would be one-way flight to Spain, which is around 40,000 pesos or 800 euros, more or less. And then NIE fee, which is 1,000 pesos. But this part of it is already what we provide as Filipinos living in Europe or Asians living in Europe, and we can help you in terms of on on ground support or in country support. As such, we recommend showing at least 10,000 to 15,000 euros for the bank account. So this is just sample scholarships that you can apply for. They are different ones. But first one is Erasmus Mundus Masters in Public Policy. It is rather focusing more on governance and political economy. So if you're somebody who has experience with international relations, international affairs, and has objectives towards the public service, you can go towards this scholarship. And it's fully funded, tuition fee, and yeah, has some consortium of universities that you can go for, from Barcelona to Ireland to Greece as well, and Belgium. The next one is Erasmus Mundus Joint Master Scholarship. You could also be admitted to this. It is an Erasmus Mundus Joint Masters program as well, and has a consortium of universities. The next one, the last one is Maik ESID Scholarship, specifically for public sector employees from the Philippines, especially if you work for the government, and you could receive a stipend and living costs towards Spain. So that is it, I believe, for studying in Spain, and I'm super excited to hear about France as well, to study in France. And I will now move forward to Desiree. Over to you, Desiree.
Thank you so much, Lauren, for showing us what it's like to be studying in Spain. Now we will be moving forward for studying in France. So for those of you who are interested in France, which is just really very near Spain, these are the reasons why France is also a very good option for studying abroad. So the first one is that France is truly a symbol of global excellence in so many industries. It's not just Paris, but of course, I put here first and foremost Paris, since that is the center and capital of France. So it is really a leader in arts, fashion, food, science, and business excellence. A lot of startups, multinational companies, you will find it in Paris. And it is also a place where it's a very multicultural environment. So speaking English is much easier in Paris. But of course, France is not just Paris. So there are also other cities that you can definitely explore if you want to study in France. So another reason why France is a really good option for you is that when you do pursue a master degree in France, you directly become eligible for a job seeker visa. And that means you have 1 year to do anything to find a job or to create a business related to your master's degree. Now, you won't have this if you pursue a bachelor's degree, but if you do want to pursue a bachelor's degree in France, you can obviously proceed with master's after as well. So through that, you can continue with the job seeker visa. So this is usually the pathway that students use so that they're able to work and stay in France and become a permanent resident and so on, later on apply for citizenship. So another, and let's just say it's one of the best things as well, becoming a student here in France, it allows you to work part-time. And perhaps it's also the same in Spain. I'm not sure with this, but in France, you are allowed to work 20 hours per week. And this one, the 6 months that is provided here in the slide, that refers to the internship that you can do. But working part-time, you can work part-time as long as you want, really, as long as you are a student in France. So aside from working part-time, you are also obliged to do a paid internship, usually at the end of your master degree in France. So whether you do a 2-year degree or a 1-year master degree, at the end of your master's, you have an obligatory or required internship, and that is paid. So usually the minimum monthly salary is 70,000. But if you find it in Paris, which is most likely the place where you will be applying, you can also apply in other European countries or even Asian countries as you want. The minimum monthly salary would be 70,000. For example, for me, it was around 90,000 euros per month for the internship salary. But of course, it could be even higher. So next slide, please. So which city should I go for? I would put there the first and foremost, it's Paris because it is the place where it's very multicultural. You can easily speak in English and mostly everyone will understand you. It is the world's major center for diplomacy, science, gastronomy, business, and of course fashion. So if you're into arts, culture, fashion weeks, then this is the perfect city for you, and especially if you're into art and history. So there is also the option of Lyon, which is in the south of France. It is a home to a very multicultural environment as well. It is one of the leading student cities here in France. And if you want to pursue something related to communications, then this is the best place for it as well. And we have Lille. This is a very student-friendly city. It has a lot of prestigious universities, and it is known for its vibrant and very lively young atmosphere. But what makes Lille really stand out is the cost of living. It is way more affordable than Paris. So, of course, when it comes to Paris, it is, as you can expect, pretty pricey in terms of the cost of living. But you have Lille and the last one, Angers. This is the city that I did my master's in. It is also a small, charming town, very, very charming. It's just near Paris. So usually what people do or the students do, they study in Angers or Lille or wherever it is, and then they find an internship in Paris. So in that sense, they are still able to move to Paris because that is really where a lot of us, especially Filipinos, would want to go. Or if you're a fan of Emily in Paris, you would love to explore Paris. So that is one way to do it. So next slide, please. So what is it like studying in France? This is the student life. If you're an international student here in France, there are a lot of freebies, and I'm not just talking about what the school gives you, because the university actually gives you a lot of freebies, like free tote bags, all these things. But aside from that, you do get free healthcare. So I guess this is one thing that is quite different from Spain, because in France, if you pursue a master degree or a bachelor's degree for as long as the degree is more than a year, you become a temporary resident here in France. And that allows you to get the benefits of free healthcare. I mean, it is as if you are a French citizen. So most likely around 60% off on your medical care. So you would also be able to get free vaccination. So they offered me all free vaccinations, whatever you want. If it's available, they'll give it to you for free, as well as medical checkups. You can go to your health center, and even psychological checkups and everything, guys, it's also allowed. So I guess this will also vary university to university, but in general, it's like this if you are an international student in France. Aside from that, you do get free French language classes in your curriculum here in France. So whatever the program is, as long as it's 100% English program, then they will ask you to study a foreign language class, and most likely it will be French, so that you will be able to really immerse here in France. And another freebie that you can get is free museum visits, especially in Paris. If you are under 25 and under, everything's free. But if you are 26 years old and older, but you're still a student, you still get 50% discounts on museum fees, transportation fees, and many, many other things. So these are some of the great things, benefits about studying in France. So what programs can you pursue in France? You can go in two pathways. Well, actually three. You have the bachelor's degree, you have the master's degree, and the language pathway as well. But for this purposes, for our webinar right now, let's talk about the bachelor's and master's degree. So for bachelor's degree, I will say that most of it very rarely you will find bachelor's degree that are fully English. Some parts of it will really be in French, but they do exist. Some English bachelor's degree do exist, most likely in private schools. Now, if you don't really care about paying for private schools, this is really great for you. And I know some of my friends personally who are pursuing their bachelor's degree here in private schools. So, however, this is not eligible for job seeker visa. Okay, so as I said, if you will be pursuing bachelor's degree and you want the job seeker visa after, you will have to pursue a master's degree as well. So some examples of the programs would be in management, in economics, business administration, and international business affairs. So there are still a lot of degrees or programs available, guys, but this is the most common ones. And then let's move to master's degree. And this is what I did as well coming here to France. So master's degree in France, it is perfect for fresh graduates or experienced professionals. It's really up to you. You can apply in any case. And this allows you to gain access for job opportunities and even business creation opportunities through the job seeker visa, which will be given to you after you complete your master's degree. So that is a 1 year job seeker visa. So these are some of the programs that you can pursue: international human resources management, luxury management, and marketing. In fact, right now, Lauren and I were already working with someone who did applied for the master in luxury management and marketing, and we are waiting for the visa and everything because we've already done that with our client. So it's really amazing, an amazing experience. And so other programs, you also have data science, business administration, and so many more. And if you want to know more about this, you can also check out Campus France catalog yourself, and you can type in there the keyword, and finally it will show you everything that's available in France in full English. So how do you apply? It's very similar to the Spain path as well. You apply first for the university by compiling your documents, and you submit it during application sessions. And usually for France, the application sessions is around March or April, and there's another session around May. So if you're accepted, you pay the enrollment fee online, and then gathering your visa requirements. So if you're accepted for the program, let's move forward to the visa requirements. And that includes finding your accommodation, showing your acceptance letter, your proof of funds, and later on doing the apostille and the sworn French translations. Well, for visa applications in France, apostille is not yet needed, but you will definitely need it afterwards when you are before you move to France. So applying for the student visa. So the path here is by accomplishing the France visas application, and then you book an appointment with TLS contact. If it's BLS in Spain, it's TLS contact in France. And if accepted, then bon voyage, you are on your way to France. So what do you need to prepare for your university applications? Just your passport, your curriculum vitae, your transcript of records, diploma, and again, English certificate like the Duo English test, or you can even combine it with other English certificates to really strengthen your proficiency in English to prove to the university that you really speak English well. And there could be other requirements as requested by your program. For example, if you're pursuing fashion, they might ask you for your portfolio and everything. So just some tips for this, you guys. You should be very creative with your CV. So this is one thing about France. They love creative and colorful CVs. They can really like that about CVs. They're not so strict. They're not into Harvard type CVs. And also in your cover letter, because you will also actually, it's not listed here, but you also have to prepare, just like Lauren mentioned a while ago, like a statement of purpose or your motivational letter. And in that cover letter or motivational letter, you have to mention about your professional project. What is the type of project that you want to explore in your field, and which company you want to work in the future, what future role. So this makes your motivational letter very interesting for the admissions team. So that's some of the tips that you can apply. So for your visa applications, of course, we will need your acceptance letter, your proof of funds, again, your valid passport, diploma, proof of accommodation, and there could be other additional documents as well. To further look into this, the best would be when we go into our free discovery call. So that is really where we can discuss this more in depth. And next slide, please. So how much do you need to prepare for France? It is a bit more pricier than Spain, but more or less really in the same range. You see the visa application fees around 7,000 and another service fee from TLS Contact around almost 2,000 and your passport photo. So these are all estimates as well. So you have to also keep in mind that the prices will vary, but this is a very good range that you can keep in mind. So additional visa requirements, just talking about the rent and the rent deposit, it's the same. In France and Spain, you need to pay 1 month deposit and a 1 month rent as well. So in France, the enrollment and tuition fees used to be very, very low, for as low as 200 euros. Now it has already increased quite a bit, but it's still in the very lower side if you compare it to other countries, for example, like Canada or Australia. It's still very low. So right now, the lowest tuition fee for France would be around 200,000 or 250,000. So as you can see, this is the general idea of how much you'll have to prepare, or at least to show in your bank account when you apply for the visa. So for your monthly living expenses, this is the estimate that you can keep in mind. So for monthly rent, the average here in France, it would be around 35,000 euros. The groceries, I have placed there 15,000, but personally for me, I spend less than 10,000 per month, I would say. So it really depends. You'll also have to keep in mind that this depends which city you are located in. So if you're in Paris, it is definitely more pricey. But if you're in smaller cities like Angers and other cities, then it is way lower as well. So for the transportation, even though it says here 5,000 pesos, for example, that's for 1 month already, like full transportation fee. You can write anything with this card, as what Lauren mentioned. It's the same concept. But as a student, you will have discounts. So this will still be discounted in any case. And then for data plan, you have Bouygues here, which is a telecom in France. It's only 850 euros, 850 pesos, and you already get actually between 50 and 150 gigabytes. So already a very good deal. So for the flight to France, around 50,000, if you can get a good deal. Of course, it can be higher than this as well, but you can always book ahead of time as well. And visa validation fee. So once you arrive here in France with a student visa that is long term, you have to validate that and you have to pay taxes. So that is your residency tax, and this is around 10,500. So the total would be, if you really calculate it all, it's around 670,000 for 1 year. But in France, the show money, and it's mentioned here as well, in Filipinas abroad, we recommend you to really show at least 10,000 to 15,000 euros worth in your bank account, or at least with your financial support documents. But in France, the proof of funds is around 700,000. So it's well within what we have calculated, 600 plus thousand. And that is not just the show money, you guys. That is actually, like, you can already use that for your 1 year living in France. Or if it's Spain, then it's Spain. So you can keep it in mind, it's already included in the proof of funds. So the next slide, please. So what scholarships can I apply for? Yes, of course, there are scholarships in France. Just one thing to note, that in France, most of the scholarships, you first have to apply through the university, and it's the university applying for the scholarship for you. So before anything else, the university will see if you are eligible for the scholarship, or if they will endorse you to the scholarship program. So there is France Excellence Philippines Scholarship for Filipinos already admitted to a French master's program. And you can see here some examples. You have 800 euros monthly stipend, the visa as well, the health insurance and other benefits. It's on them already for France Excellent Philippine scholarship. So usually these types of scholarships, the applications would start at the end of the year. So between October and December, you can look out for these scholarships. We also have Erasmus, that was also mentioned by Lauren a while ago. So this is very common whether you go to France, to Spain, and it usually involves multiple universities. This allows students to really explore multiple universities, and it's fully funded. If the program includes a French university, then this will be fully funded as well. So the next one is France Excellence DOST Scholarship. So these are for Filipino students in the STEM programs. So you have your living allowance, travel assistance, and many other benefits. These are just some of the scholarships, you guys, and there are still more scholarships that you can apply for. Okay, I guess that was
Awesome.
all for France.
Yes. Thank you so much, Desiree. And we now move forward to Spain versus France, and we can cruise through it as well to give time for Annie from Duolingo. So next slide. Okay, work-life balance
Most likely the same, no? They're pretty very balanced and not into hustle.
culture.
Yeah, hustle culture. Yeah.
Yeah,
So yeah,
we're the same. So
yeah,
equal.
pretty same. Both are very relaxed, you guys. So if you come to Spain or France, you will not be working like a slave. That's not the thing in Europe.
Yeah. For what's more expensive, I would say right now
France.
for maybe let's say for tuition fee,
Mm-mm.
it is
Spain.
Spain.
Yes.
So
Yes.
tuition fee, Spain is more expensive,
Yes. Cost
but
of living
yeah,
would be France. It depends on the city. If you choose a smaller city, guys, it's still gonna be a bit cheaper than Paris. So
yeah. Paris or France is a little more on the cost of
yeah.
living side.
Yes.
Which city is better for what I want to study? This is very subjective.
Yeah. It
I
really
would
depends. Yeah.
Yeah. So, okay, so let's say if you are, as Desiree mentioned, right? Like for Paris, like it's really more like arts and culture, but also in relation to business, then
Yes.
you could go for Paris. Or,
Fashion, luxury and fashion, then definitely Paris. Yes.
yeah, for me, for let's say arts and culture, it would be Barcelona. But
Mhm.
for business, I would say Madrid.
Yeah. Okay. Yes, yes. So I heard also that Spain is really good for business and even AI and everything. Very good in Spain. So
Yeah.
it really depends, you guys.
Yeah. Next one.
So the
Oh,
language.
um, which language is better? Oh, that's a hard thing.
Yeah,
And of course,
this
there's
is
no language that's
no,
better.
no. Better fit for you. So that's up to you what you want to learn. Anyway, Duolingo is there to help you, whichever language you will be wanting to learn. So
Mm.
yeah, if you want a very familiar language and nostalgic language, I'd go for Spain. So that would be great.
But if you want a challenge,
Yes, and extra spice, you go for French. So
yes.
yeah, but
Okay.
overall, yeah, that's Spain versus France.
Yeah. Next one. Okay. So we move forward to the admissions prep with Duolingo, and I'm super excited about this because, of course, Duolingo, we all know about Duolingo. I've used Duolingo even before reaching Spain and trying to learn how to speak Spanish and everything. So I really think that Duolingo has really been such a pivotal and such a groundbreaking innovation in this day and age, right? So of course, I believe like Desiree might have also dabbled on Duolingo before reaching France.
It's the
Uh,
first app, definitely. Yes. Yes.
yeah, so it's amazing, and I'm super, esteemed to also just collaborate with Duolingo with us. So over to you, Annie, and super exciting.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. Let me share my screen with you. Um, okay. 1 second. Can you see my screen now?
Yes, we can hear you. We can see your screen.
Okay. You see the full screen, right?
Yes, we can.
Yeah, thank you so much for inviting me to this webinar. It's great to learn more how to study in Spain and study in France as well. Yeah, actually, I want to enroll to study in France. That's a very presentation is so insightful, actually. And Hi, everyone. I'm Annie. I'm from the Duolingo English test. From you see the green owl, you can easily associate with the app. Maybe you learn French or Spanish on the app already. However, the Duolingo English test is also part of the Duolingo company. And what we do is actually to provide a worldwide recognized English test so that you can use our test for admission of any university or colleges around the world. And I'm excited really excited today to share with you what's the test about, how do we proctor the test remotely so that you can take the test from home, and the cost of the test is just a fraction of what's currently available out there for you. And especially for Filipinos who already have really good command of English, and you're thinking of, like, what's the test that you can do right away and get certified and move on to your admission process, I think this test is for you. So, yeah, that's me. And the agenda for today did what is the DET, acceptance and recognition, some of the test content. If you haven't take our practice test completely for free, and some Q&As if you have any. So what is the Duolingo English test? It is an English test that tests your English abilities, similar to any other test that you have heard before, like the IELTS, the PTE, or the TOEFL. I think TOEFL is the oldest test still around now, but I think people are looking for a test that can easily accessible at home, and they can take that home. That's why we come in. What makes us different? So we are after convenience. As I said before, the test, you can take the test entirely online on your laptop at home. So you don't have to go to any test centers. So if you are living in kind of like a remote area with no access to a test center, you can consider our test as well. And our test is very fast. So the duration of the test is around 45 minutes to an hour. Any other test could test you from 2 to 3 hours. However, with just 45 minutes to an hour, we still can test you with 4 skills: speaking, reading, writing, and listening. And you can take the test anytime. And we have some stats showing that Gen Z would like to take the test around midnight to 4 a.m. in the morning. I think that's when they are most focused. So very interesting statistic to have a look at. And as I said, our test is not very expensive. So the worldwide, so everyone around the world have the same price, which is 70 USD, and that converts around 4,300 pesos for one test. And if you got your mark or your score in this one sitting, that's all you spend on us, 4,300 peso. And if let's say for your first test, you haven't got the marks that you are after, don't worry, take the second test. I think average test taker take around 2 tests from us to achieve their marks. However, I believe Filipinos have really good English. You guys don't need to take more than 2 tests. And with the result, you can share to how many university or colleges you would like to apply to entirely for free. So we don't charge anything further from the test itself, which is 70 USD. And as you said, Filipinos abroad is also our partner. So if you are taking the test with them, you'll also be receiving a 10% discount. So the test even go cheaper if you are taking the test through one of our partners. And also you will be receiving faster support or any technical problem, please let us know. I think we pride ourselves on being the fastest supporter. If you guys have any technical problems or anything, we have a support function on your test account. So if there's anything happen, you can capture your screen and send to us. We either let you resit for the test or let you have a different test. So yeah. And for acceptance, up to now, 2026, we have about over 6,500 university accepting us, especially if you are thinking about the US or Canada. There's probably like 99% university accepting us, but we are growing in Europe. And we're talking about studying in Europe today, right? So study in Spain and in France, a lot of university that taught the program in English accepting us. So you can use our DET test for your admission process. And yeah, here's just a snapshot of all of the institutions that we have around the world, and you can see the numbers in Europe growing. And actually, you can use our English test to apply for visas as well. So you don't need to sit for a different test to prove your English ability when you apply for visa. You can actually using the same test result for your university admission and also for your visa application. And yeah, just this one's a quick one. How do we do it? How do we let you sit at home and take the test? How do we make sure things are doing all right? And how do we proctor you when you take the test? Actually, we are using a lot of AI and technology in our test. So with the test itself, the content, maybe some of you let me know in the comment if you have ever sit for the IELTS or the TOEFL. Let me know your experience. And I'm also I have set for the PT, the IELTS, and the DT myself. So I kind of experience all the tests. And what I find is the DT is actually closer in the term that I feel more natural completing the test than I have to study the format of the test. And some of the question need you to answer in a certain way. At DT test, you don't have to be like that. You can be as natural as you can be, and we test you on your actual ability. So, and we designed the test as adapted testing, which means if we ask you a question and you can't really answer it correctly, then we automatically will lower the difficulties of the question to match your English ability. So that's why we call it adaptive. So one tip for you to take the test, if you feel like the questions is getting easier, just watch out because it might be the computer sensing that you need to have easier question. So yeah, don't think that the test is easy. You might get lower score. So if you think you are answering the questions getting harder, but you're trying your best to answer, that's where you get the higher marks. So that's one tip for you before taking the test. And as I said, we're using a lot of AI to proctor our tests. However, AI did not mark the test, we do have human proctors as well. So if AI flagged up any discrepancy or any inconsistency of the result, then we have a human proctor come in to look at the result again. So we will have the test result as accurately as possible. So if you feel like you are incorrectly marked, just appeal to our test through the support function. Then we can remark it for you. And here's some of the blogs and some of the information. If you scan the QR code, you can read more about our test. We do have a lot of publication on English testing and also, the future of English testing, which is quite interesting to read. I think our test is basically for the future now, and have everyone more have wider access to this test, so you can take the test anywhere in the world, anytime that you are available. Here's some tips for before taking the test. We do actually need a valid ID. Ideally, if you have your passport, that's the best ID that we can verify you. If not, then your national identification card is enough. But sometimes we, after taking the test, we do ask for the second, international ID, i.e. your passport, to verify it again. And for those that taking the test at home, these are some of the requirements. You do need a working laptop and also a camera, the smartphone with camera, because we do require two set of cameras for proctoring. One is your front camera on the laptop, and the second one is the camera on your phone, so that we can monitor your fingers and keyboard. Because we do proctor keystroke and like the many words that you can type in 1 minute. That's the tip. Not only we proctor how you answer your question on the laptop, but we also count the many words that you can type. So if you remember the answer in your mind and you type too fast, it does flag up in our system and we might check your answer again. So no tips for please don't remember your answer. That doesn't work. So yeah, just trying to answer the test as naturally as possible. And the test flow. So once you purchase the test from us, just click on Take the Test. Then we let you download the Duolingo English Test app. And once the app runs in your laptop, we will guide you each step of the way. So from setting up, verify your ID, to room scan and setting up your second camera, and then you start the test with the actual question. And we don't section the question by, you do your listening first and you do your speaking and reading. We mix the question up. So you might listen to one section and then we ask you to write about what you just listened. So the question will be mixed up. So these are the types of questions that will be at the test. So a lot, but I think it's pretty straightforward. And in terms of preparing for the test, all of these type of questions is available on your test account. we have a free practice test for you. So you can take the free practice test entirely. And the result of the practice test is pretty close to your actual test, maybe 10-20% different. But if you would like to practice more question about the test, you can practice on your test account entirely for free. And these are some of the writing and speaking samples, especially university nowadays, they ask for the comprehension and the conversation samples. Because when we, with the speaking and reading or listening, we do have some of the section result, like the answer that you write to our question. We do share this with the university so they know like what score is your comprehension skill and conversation, to make sure that you can speak and learn and your English is up to standard. And here's the score comparison to other tests. For example, our maximum point is 160, which is equivalent to TOEFL 120 or IELTS 9.0. And yeah, here's just a breakdown so that you can see what you need to achieve for the DET. For example, if you are studying master program, the IELTS will require around 6.5, which is around 120 to 125 DET, which is not too hard, but not too easy either. It's kind of like a bit upper intermediate level. And here's a sample of the test report. We give you the overall score, but also apart from the individual sub-score, we also give you the integrated sub-score as well. And as I said before, university love reading the integrated sub-score of you. For example, the comprehension and conversation is the two key sub-score that they be looking at to make sure that you be able to write and read in English or have a simple conversation in English. And for the test report, same as any other test, you will have 2 years validity of the test, and unlimited sharing of the test result. So we don't charge any more apart from just the test price. And you don't need to select any university in advance. Once you have the test result, you can share to as many university as you like for free. And some of the test readiness resource that I shared before, right on your test account, you can take the full-length practice test for free. So I encourage you to take this full practice test whenever you are ready. For example, you want to take the test on Friday, take this test tomorrow. So you familiarize yourself with the test and do any other skill practice before that. So practice as much as possible. We also share with Filipinos abroad a lot of practice materials that they can share to you to practice more outside of the free version on your test account. And to prepare for the test and to learn more about tests, our actual YouTube channel have a lot of useful videos that you can watch. They're around like 3 or 4 minutes tops each video. So feel free to check out our YouTube channel. And yeah, lots of materials and prep for the test. Please watch before you take the test to avoid invalidity of the test. Because once you get the test invalid, if the reason is not cheating or remember the test, then we let you retake the test again. But actually, you have to spend another 70 US dollars to sit for another test. So make sure you check out our YouTube channel. And that's all from me. If you have any questions, I'm happy to take them at Q&A.
Awesome. So thank you so much, Annie and Desiree. We have a couple more minutes to go over some questions, and we can just go over them. In the case that we cannot cater to all, or there could be some more questions, Isabella has also shared the Discovery Call link for us to get into a deeper dive of you studying abroad. But I would say that if you are thinking about studying abroad next year, you are in time to really prepare the requirements so that you don't feel like you are in a rush. So for starters, there is the first question of how's the job market now in Spain, in France, for marketing and IT professionals. So I could speak for Spain for now. So for Spain, definitely if you are in charge of digital marketing for artificial intelligence, in e-commerce, in the industries of finance, fintech, consumer brands. These are the ones that are emerging right now for Spain. There are a lot of startups being developed as well. So in Barcelona, it is coming out across as a technology and finance hub. So there are a lot of startups emerging here and being founded here. So if you have experience with project management, data science, data analytics, artificial intelligence, LLM models, as well infused with your marketing expertise or IT, then you have a spot here. What I would really say as somebody who came from this path is that you take up an internship that can really give you the experience, the leverage, the license to say that, okay, I have worked for a company in Spain. I have work experience in Europe, so that upon finishing your master's, you can use this as the experience that I have, and I am ready to take on this new job. So there is growing demand with digital marketing, with e-commerce and performance marketing, with Madrid in specific terms also, like if you were into to work for luxury brands or luxury marketing and fashion, that is also emerging, and that's similar to maybe Paris or France. So yeah, what else? So getting in touch with the tools with LLM, artificial intelligence, whether these platforms, so the ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, and the know-how to use all of this in this next day and age will give you the edge to work for these new companies. So there. Over to Desiree for
Yes,
France.
so I guess for France, especially for marketing and especially in Paris, well, Paris is really the hub for everything, I would say, because it is just so large in terms of the multinational companies that are there. So obviously, as Filipinos, we don't really speak full French unless you're, very high level with French already. It takes a bit of time to get there. So Paris would be the best place to look for these things, whether that's for marketing or IT. I do know people who are in those fields and were international students. So yes, there's definitely a place there. I would not say it's the easiest because one the number one thing is that the language, we really need to improve on, their native language, especially for IT. I would say marketing, it's less restricted in terms of when it comes to English roles. There are many, many marketing roles all over France and especially in Paris. But when it comes to IT, of course, you will be, if you are working for multinational companies or English speaking companies, which really does exist in Paris anyway, then you're definitely in the right place. You will have some availability in Paris for sure. But if it's a French company, then you can expect a bit of less opportunities, I would say, in because they look for native speakers. So it's in that sense. But I agree completely with what Lauren said. If you do pursue a master degree here in France, and if you're looking for specific roles like marketing or IT, then your best bet is to really go for an internship in that role in a company that is possibly has the greatest potential to absorb you at the end of the internship. So that is really my biggest advice if you're worried too much about finding an opportunity afterwards. Well, anyway, in France, you will have the 1 year job seeker visa, which you can find an employer, or you can create a business. For example, if you're IT, then you can do like freelance work in terms of having multiple clients, and then you register yourself as an auto entrepreneur here in France, and it's related to your master's degree if you're pursuing a master's in IT in France. So then it's allowed by the government. So it could be that path as well. So I guess there are also other, I think the first some of the other questions in the chat. Um, there was a question on which school for luxury management. There are really a lot of schools, so it depends if is that in Spain or France. But for France, you can look into Campus France. You search luxury management, and you'll see a list of schools there. So let me check other questions. Okay, so there is a question here for France. I get, in your opinion, would it be manageable to work remotely for a US-based company approximately 5 to 6 hours a day while completing a full-time marketing master's program in France? Definitely, it's possible. Now, legally wise, I would say it's not the most traditional path to do it, because if you are coming here in France as a student, for example, then most likely they are expecting you to work in a French company. For example, if that is a bar or a restaurant or a bakery and you work part-time or nanny or English teacher, you can. But as to working online, it's really a gray area. It's pretty difficult to answer the question black and white. I would say many people do it, many students do it, but I don't think it's encouraged. So that I hope that answers Daphne's question. And
Okay. So
yeah.
thank you so much, Desiree. This other question is, hi, when it comes to financial cases, if you cannot afford in applying to master's degree, what would be the alternative choice in both Spain and France? So, well, for let's say, especially for affording like a master's degree, there are, first of all, the scholarships that we shared with you. So that's one. And then the second one would be taking up your a vocational course that is in Spain. So the vocational course, you can learn more about it in our discovery call, but it is a free of tuition vocational course funded by the Spanish Ministry of Education, but it is taught in Spanish. So the thing is that some of our clients that go on to this course, and of course the courses are more on the practical side, right? Like it's more culinary, it's more carpentry, hairdressing, all the likes. They have taken up Spanish language school for now, like just to get better with learning in Spanish. So that is the best course of action if after taking up scholarships. If you do want scholarships, like fully funded scholarships, I do recommend working on it for like 1 year or more, because the scholarships are very rigorous, and normally they have like a intake of, let's say, start of the year, January to March, for the intake of September, or even longer. They start their admissions like October, accepting applications. So there.
And I
So
yeah, sorry, and I guess for France it's really just the scholarship path. So we have the scholarships and we don't I don't really have any info for vocational courses like what Lauren discussed for Spain, but for France it will be the path of scholarships. There is quickly a question about tips and crafting a strong letter of intent. Make it personal, personalize it, but you can if you are going to be working, I mean, if you will be with us, Filipinas Abroad will help you craft the cover letter and all the letters that you need anyway in applying for the school and even the visa. So just quickly answering also a question about French language. So there is a question here that it's not a requirement to attend language school. It's your own choice. That is correct, Daphne. So I would say it's you can definitely enroll yourself to language school after you've already been accepted. And for the meantime, use applications exactly why we are partnering with Duolingo, because this is where they come in. So for me personally, like Lauren, we did do Duolingo. That was the first app that I did, and that already gave me around A1, A2 level. But just to be sure, I also enrolled in a school as well. But obviously, it was still more or less the same. It did give me my base for French. So it is still a very good app to use for really equipping yourself with the basics of French, especially when you move to France, even though you don't officially enroll in a language school that is really, really, like from the Alliance Francaise, which is really from the consulate or something. So that's why Duolingo exists. So this is a path that you can definitely take. So Duolingo or the app similar to Duolingo, definitely Duolingo, and then the language school after. So
awesome. So there's also the question of how many months. This has already been answered. And um, there is this last one. Is culinary mostly vocational courses for both countries? I did the year of J1 2 years ago. I assume this is in the US. I'm doing my second one right now. Is it possible to know more about my possible options, or will it be harder? Um, well, first of all, you have the travel history of being in the US, which will provide that cushion or that edge when we apply for a visa, that you have been well traveled. You do have also the leverage of the experience and the training, which some of these, if you're going for a vocational course, these certifications can help get you admitted to the vocational course. But there is also like masters in culinary, which is also an option for you. And of course, they also ask for these training certificates that you have done. So yes, this is something that is an option for you if you want to go for Spain or France instead. And yeah, it will give you an advantage that you have finished these other experiences and you have gathered, because culinary is a very like a physical type of experience that you really need the or practical experience, so you any type of certification, qualification, credential that you have gathered will help you to taking up another course in relation to culinary. So yeah, we are down to the last probably one or two more questions if there are more. But we can move to the next slide, Isa, where we can ask you to just book a call if you want to learn more, if you are decided, if you want to get ahead of this journey. So for anyone that has attended, and we will list down the people that have attended, you do receive the benefit of the Duolingo English test 10% discount, and also um, 20% off from our services when you go towards onboarding with us for as your study abroad partner. So I will just put my correct Spain number. Sorry, because I have changed it, but feel free to also message me on WhatsApp. In Europe, we use more of WhatsApp than Viber. So yeah, this is available on WhatsApp just in case you need. And um, Isa has shared the Calendly link. So please copy, paste it, and paste it on your Messenger, paste it on your WhatsApp, paste it on wherever, so that you can book a call. Yeah, we do have some brochures and we can send it across to all the attendees. And we also have a free study abroad guide if you want. So we can proceed to sending that out to all the registrants. But hopefully this gives you some picture. The promotion of the 20% off our services is only up to a month. So let's say if it's July 15, then it's only eligible for August 15. It doesn't matter if you're thinking about it next year or next year. But as long as you have gotten ahead of the process and have set your mind towards this short-term or long-term goal of studying abroad in the next 2 to 3 years or so, then we will be here to help you. But thank you so much for your time, everyone. And this was such um, an enjoyable experience for me to get to know you all. And as you know, we are based in Europe, and we really are building this community of international students abroad. So yeah, we're super um, we're super happy to have you guys, and hope you got some information from this.
Yes, thank you so much, guys. And yeah.
Have a good Wednesday. You have
Yeah,
the
thank you so much,
calendar
everyone.
WhatsApp.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Annie. Thank you, Lauren, Isa.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Have a good
Thank
one.
you. Have a good
Bye.
one. See you.